Loudly. So, welcome all this evening. I'll kick the meeting off with a few housekeeping things. The meeting will be recorded, and the recordings are now being uploaded to the council's YouTube page. It would be useful if everybody speaks one at a time as called on, so the recording equipment can hear you clearly, and if we try and keep any side conversations to a minimum, thank you. The recording equipment might catch members of the public in the public seating area, so if you don't want to be filmed or recorded, please let the clerk know. We're not expecting a fire alarm, so if we do hear a fire alarm, please evacuate all through the exit down the stairs and out into Webster's Way car park. Thank you very much. First item on the agenda this evening is apologies for absence. We've had apologies from Councillor Ward, Councillor Sutton, Councillor Balding and Councillor Lumley. Second item.
Can I offer the apologies for Councillor Bob Milne, please?
Oh, yes, Councillor Milne. Thank you. Second item, declaration of members' interests. Are there any interests other than Watford District Council and Essex County Council pertaining to anything on the agenda this evening? Thank you. So the usual. Item 3, to receive the minutes of the full council meeting on the 2nd of March 2026, to approve the minutes of that one, and I'll do the other one at the same time. The minutes of the full council meeting on the 16th of March 2026. Is everybody happy with those?
With the 2nd of March ones, we made the amendment that Elizabeth suggested around clarifying it was James Newport that gave a report.
Thank you. So I think it just said Councillor Newport, and now we've changed it so it's Councillor.
Actually, I actually wanted to through you, Chair, to raise with the clerk. On the motion for the defibrillator work, I propose that motion. It's not recorded in the minutes. Yeah, you put other proposals in the minutes. It just doesn't seem consistent.
Okay, we can add that in the proposal second. Yeah.
Thanks.
Anything else? So I'd like to propose that we accept those minutes with those two alterations. Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Gallagher. All those in favour? Yeah. So we'll move on to the public session. So we've got one member of the public here who wants to speak. So Sam, that's you.
All right, to ask a question then?
Yes, please do.
Right, thanks everyone. Yeah, it's just a question, just on points 8.1 and 8.1 8.2. You may have already covered this obviously anyway. It was just about how, so if you approve these sort of agreements for these particular provisions, how would success be measured for those services over 12 months, and are young people themselves involved in the provision of that, specifically neurodivergent young people?
Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
So I'll just answer a little bit of that just straight away. Bar and Boss were supposed to be here this evening to make a presentation, so you would have been able to meet them and hear a bit about their work. They do report back to the office, and the youth, the Essex County Council Youth Service are also just fulfilling a new agreement with us, where they are going to be regularly meeting with the office so that they can make proper reports back as to the work that they're doing and how they're getting on. I'm not sure specifically with relation to special educational needs children, but that will be something that, you know, we can look into if it's needed, or and also, you know, these are people that you can, that are out in public, we can introduce you to and things like that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I'm sorry that they're not there here this evening.
That's
I might have to defer the item that they're
Yeah.
attached to, yeah, so, yeah.
Thanks, Catherine.
Thank you very much.
Please.
Next item on the agenda is the, chairman's updates. So on the 20th of March, I went to the Rochdale District Council Chairman's charity dinner. That was very nice. On the 24th of March, I represented Rayleigh at the Lord Lieutenant's new cadet intake at Ingatestone Hall. So went along there. And then I've deferred quite a lot of work for Councillor Brewer to do as my advice, because I went off on a holiday, how very dare I. So Councillor Brewer attended the Rayleigh Horticultural Society Spring Flower Show and presented awards there. Also attended the 10th anniversary of the Rayleigh Town Council, no, it's the Rayleigh Museum, not the Rayleigh Town Museum, it's our museum, Rayleigh Town Council Museum. So Councillor Brewer represented us there, and also at the museum's fundraising talk on the Titanic that Mike Davis gave. So Councillor Brewer attended that as well. The Easter egg hunt that we ran with the kind help of Councillor Gallop and the office was a good success. So a lot of children joined in with that one around the town, and that's all been sponsored by Essex Clearies Healing Centre, and they gave prizes for 3 winners of a colouring competition, and also the 3 winners of the all the kids that have successfully found all 10 eggs on the high street. So that's happened this week. I think that was before the last one, wasn't it? No, I don't think so. Oh, I haven't got the date for it. So Councillor Brewer's going to so many things. We've got in a muddle with the dates. So I'll make a note to add that one if it was between the last one. Just a reminder that we've got raising the flag on Thursday for St George's Day. So we're doing a flag raising here at 10:30. If anybody can come to that, we've invited all the members of the public. And then afterwards, everybody's invited over to the Mill Hall for Rochdale District Council to raise the flag for St George's Day over there. And on the art project for the telephone box in the High Street that we've been working on, we've secured the funding for that now from Rochdale District Council from the UK SPF fund. It's been really for us to do the work. We're waiting for, we've got to get all commissions from planning and things like that, just to dot the i's and cross the t's. But that should be going ahead later in the year as well. So that's looking good. That's all from me. Item 6 is the clerk's report, which unfortunately was sent out a little bit late because of unforeseen circumstances. But Sean's provided us with a very comprehensive report of what he's been up to. So that's for noting. And what he said in his email this evening is please do get back to him with any questions about that report over the next week or so.
Okay.
Councillor Lisa Newport.
Thank you, Chair. So through you, I did manage to have a chance to have a look at the clerk's report, and I have a couple of questions. If Sean wouldn't mind just clarifying. In your paragraph about the tidy up, you say that some items have been given to the museum. Can you clarify what items have been given to the museum, please?
Photographs.
Just photographs.
Photographs and some of the plaques that we no longer use, like the award plaques.
Did you not give them the shields and trophies as well?
They didn't take it.
They didn't take
I
them.
don't think they took them, right?
No.
They didn't take any shields and trophies.
As far as I'm aware.
Okay. So just the photographs and award plaques.
Yes.
Thank you.
Councillor Ryan?
Can I just ask why we've given those away and why we're not proud to keep them here?
So that they can go out on display and be ready for the public rather than sit in the eaves unused. We weren't really,
So
Councillor James, report.
Sorry, on that, have we just transferred those assets over to them, or have we kept them?
No, so they are still on, but they obviously are considered like long-term loan.
Yeah,
So we've
no,
got the proper paperwork for it.
so would they be on our asset list, Sean, those items, because I know you're having a lot of
No.
difficulties with our asset list.
Yeah.
So are you gonna put them onto the asset list, because
They would be below the value of, that we've recorded on asset register.
I think the thing is here is that some of us don't know they even existed,
Yeah.
and others wouldn't know they existed. And how do we keep a track of our inventory of what the council actually owns?
Are we talking about the trophies and the plaques for the garden competition?
I'm talking about just in general. I'm just, it's only because I think historically, I think councillor Swearing and councillor Rowe probably know about them, because they've been in the council a lot longer than even myself. And and I think this is the problem that we're having going, with you coming in, Sean, as well, is that you're uncovering things that we didn't know about. So when we see things presented, that's why it raises questions about what's happening.
So we just clarify that the trophies and the plaques, not the plaques, the trophies and the shields are the things that have been awarded at the awards ceremony. So we have all seen these because they've been out and awarded every year. These are not ones that have been discovered hiding. These are ones that have been given out and taken back every year.
Right.
So like for the best pub and the best front garden and that sort of thing. Those trophies and shields. So none of them are silver, as far as we know, are they? No. So this is why I think the clerk is saying that they're under the value
Yeah, that's what I was trying
of anything that would be recorded on the asset register. But then that it was seen that it was an opportunity to display them in the public realm.
We do
So
have-
that they still belong to us.
Yeah, so, and we haven't exactly implemented through what has been given to the museum, it's all recorded and on paperwork, both ends, so they've got a copy, we've got a copy.
Can I just come back? Have we got that in writing? Because I'm on the management committee.
What the town museum?
And we
Yes,
don't have things online.
yes, so when Mike came, he brought a form with him and we've got a copy to say, and then he took a copy away. So,
Right, okay, it's interesting. As long as we've got,
yeah.
got that noted somewhere.
Councillor Sperry?
Well, can we ask then that we're not going to be presenting these awards again?
Sorry?
Can we assume that we're not going to be presenting these awards again?
And not at this time.
So,
So who decided that?
so a lot of the community involvements that have been part of the town and the community for the last however many years have suddenly stopped. Is that correct?
I think the last couple of years, there's not been so much community involvement. If I don't know if any other councillors have noticed, but where the office has put in quite a lot of hard work into trying to run these competitions and get people involved and get the community involved. There have been very few and far in between nominations. We've had to hunt around for nominations. The award ceremonies for the Citizen of the Year and all of that sort of thing. It's been very hard work getting any nominations. So there hasn't been so much community involvement. And I think that if it's down to the office to organise all these things, because councillors aren't really getting involved in the same way as they might have in the past, councillor Sperry, then I think it's at the moment it's on ice. Councillor Vilma Wilson.
Thank you, Chair. Councillor Cheryl Rowe answered what I was going to say. I do a fair amount of accessioning for the museum,
Yeah.
and there's very few items we're taking on loan. However, on the accessioning form, there is a loan tick box, which I have ticked very rarely, so I do know it's taken in on loan.
Yeah.
And those accessioning forms are kept separately for obvious reasons.
Because they hold our Baker's card,
Yes.
that belongs to Raleigh Town Council, doesn't it? And that's in the middle of the museum. So
It is indeed.
imagine it'd be a similar sort of thing to that they're looking after them for us at the moment. Councillor Sperry.
Chairman, can I suggest then that we should in light of after the full council meeting in next week, we consider how we're going to involve the community again.
Yeah, so I'd suggest that you put a motion forward for an agenda, councillor Sperring, with your ideas, and we'll get the councillors back involved again.
Okay.
Yes, that'd be very good. Because it's been quite hard work over the last couple of years, getting councillors to be involved with these things. Councillor Rowe.
Sorry to keep coming back, but who decided this? Because I don't recall any of us having a say in it. Am I wrong? Have I missed something? Did I miss a meeting?
Well,
You can't just make these decisions without, we're a member-led council, remember, not an office-led council.
okay, so
Sorry, it wasn't officers who decided not to issue the award.
That's why I'm asking the question,
Yeah.
not tell me that, yeah.
So we did issue the awards last year. We had an award ceremony last year. And the all the garden competitions, all of those sort of things. We did the best Christmas windows. What we've done for the Christmas windows, for example, is rather than give out a shield and then get it back again, they each get a little thing that they can keep. So those sort of competitions are still running. So it's not to say we're not going to have anything. It might just be a different format with these shields and trophies.
That's all very well, but where was it agreed? That's what I'm asking. Things just don't happen. Councils have to agree things. Who agreed it?
Yeah, we'll go back.
I'll go back and have
Can
a
you?
look, yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, I don't know whether it's the same. Is it the same as? It's not that we're not having anything, so it's not being necessarily cancelled. But if nobody arranges it, then it doesn't go ahead. Councillor Page.
Yeah, so these shields and things that we're talking about, is it all the stuff that's connected to the Raelian Bloom? Where it used to be, which is a part of the communities committee, and I know for a fact this hasn't been brought forward onto communities where we were going to say yay or nay. I think I understand the struggle we've been having as a council for people to actually come forward on all of these. And I think what was needed was a fresh set of eyes around it all, where we could find different ways of trying to get the appetite of the community to come forward, and how it had been done for years. And it isn't just the past few years. I think years before that, there was a very low turnout of people putting forward for different things. But I'm very aware that on Communities Committee that's who had the say round all of that to get ratified at full council. So that hasn't been brought forward. So I strongly suggest that that's put back onto a community's agenda, so that a proper debate can take place or a working group can take place, so that then we can engage properly with the schools and the community around it all. It's really trying to get the schools on board, and they haven't got an appetite right now for it, and that's sort of 3 years running now that that's happened. So so I suggest we put that back onto communities, and totally agree with Councillor Sperring and Councillor Rowe that we are, you know, led as members here, and we must make these decisions together, not separately like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. I mean, I think we're misunderstanding what's happened. We've not stopped doing anything. We've just moved the trophies. And for example, the like I just said, the competitions at Christmas, different sorts of trophies were given. We still did the competition. We still asked for community involvement. So it's not to say that we won't have a front garden competition, a back garden competition, but we might not necessarily give for example, we might not necessarily give those same trophies out, and it might not necessarily be done in the same way. But this is what can be spoken about. But just because we've done it 1 year and the next year doesn't mean it's going to carry on ad infinitum. Councillor Linden.
Misunderstanding. I think transparency is the word. Councillor Rowe said, where was it decided? And the clerk has said, you'll take it away and have a look at it and get back to us. So let's not theorise it. Let's have the fact. If it was decided at committee, show it to us. If it wasn't, it's not a misunderstanding. It's just lack of transparency of exactly what's happened. Thank you.
Moving on.
Oh, sorry, I've just got one last thing, councillor, if I may. Thank you, Chair. Your item on the report about the charitable trust training, I have expressed an interest. Are you getting back to us to let us know the further details? I haven't heard it.
Booked on, every councillor is expressed interest is all booked on, and you should have all had an email from the provider as well.
No.
No, okay.
And on that note, because you say in there about contacting officers, an email is preferred. I'm not sure if you're receiving my emails because I don't seem to be getting any replies from you.
I was absent last week, so that might be.
I received one bounce back email, but I'm not talking about last week. I'm talking about a few weeks ago. So can you just look into that?
Yeah, I know you talked before.
Yeah, but since
Okay.
then as well, if you can, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Just in case there is a problem, because I
Yeah.
don't want to, not receive the information that everyone else is receiving. Thank you.
Sorry, can I just check, the other councillors who expressed interest, have you had emails?
No.
No. No. So that's everyone, that's affected. Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
On the list as well, please.
Okay. Everyone's affected.
Do you, sorry, through the chair, Clark, do you want people to put their hands up that are interested or?
No, I still got the list of everyone who's expressed an interest, but I'll
Right.
follow up and just, but you should all have an email from the
Yeah.
provider themselves.
Yeah.
Is that the EALC?
No, it's Mulberry.
Mulberry, oh, okay. Does the EALC do that training as well, don't they?
Yeah, but not until later in the year.
Item 7, committee minutes. These are to note the minutes of the committee meetings, planning committee meetings, planning committee the 9th of February and planning committee the 16th of March. Has anybody got anything on that? No, okay, so I'd like to,
Are you just noting anyway?
we're just noting those ones. We're just noting those ones. Item 8.1, youth provision bar and bus. They were supposed to come and do a presentation, so I feel like we should defer this item because they're not here this evening. So that one's to councillor Brewer.
Thank you, Chair. I know we said we're deferring. I think I've sent over to the office, there was an error on the dates on there, but we were going to consider that should be changed for next year. I think they got the wrong date.
Yes.
But also, I think there was another point, I think Councillor Newport might want to raise it. No, it's just a bit of stand up. Okay, it was, there was something on there to do with Swain Park and Wolsey Park, that they might be doing something, but I did ask, do we know what they're going to? But if I understand it, Wolsey Park isn't town council regularly.
Yes,
So that needs to be amended. If they're going to do a presentation to us, so they
To make sure they're covering the right area. Yeah,
thank you.
James, councillor James Newport.
Thanks. This is for the clerk. Sean, why would the town council be bearing 100% of the cost? Have we looked at match funding from RDC or ECC or PFCC?
No.
Could we do that before they?
We can do.
Thanks.
And then the second item on that section is the detached youth work Essex Youth Service. To consider the draft service level agreement for the detached youth work for Essex Youth Service for the 2026-27 financial year. And people have had a chance to read through that. Are we happy with their proposition? Have we got anything to do?
So I met with the youth service. Obviously, you've already had the service level agreement in for a number of years. They are keeping the cost this year the same as the SLA that's just expired. But we have agreed going forward we'll meet quarterly with them, Bar and Bus and Trust Links, so that we can kind of make sure they're all working together and making the best use of all the youth provision in the town. And they will also be improving their reporting back to the council, so we'll get monthly reports that I can circulate to all councillors, a bit like the one I circulated a couple of weeks ago.
Councillor O'Leary.
Yeah, just on this and on the youth provision. know the bar and buzz aren't here, but I think it'd be really helpful just to be reminded of what budget lines these things are coming out of.
So it would be the youth provision budget of 25,500.
And there's a separate
Yes.
budget, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
So,
Oh, yeah, I see it, yeah.
yeah, sorry.
Councillor James Newport.
Thank you. So, if they're coming out of that budget, Sean, there's nothing being spent out of those budgets at all yet, so there's no.
No, we've had no spend out of those. at the
No
moment.
spend at all.
No.
Right, okay, thanks.
Should we make that a motion then for the. So I'd like to propose that we accept the Essex County Council Youth Service councillor.
Sorry, Chair, so, 8.1, have you moved a motion to defer that item?
Not yet.
All right, sorry. Hang on. So we'll make a motion to defer that item. Can I have a second, please? Thank you, councillor Page. All those in favour? Thank you. And then secondly, the motion to accept their proposal for the 2026-2077 year from the Essex County Council Youth Service. I'll propose that. Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you, councillor Page. All those in favour? Everyone, thank you very much. Next one. Council projects and events. Talk about something fun. There's some community lottery proposal. So I don't know if everybody's had a chance to consider this. And the idea is that this will be a far bigger, better, more fun way to and easier on the office to raise money for community projects and charities and that sort of thing. And we could use the budget that's left over this year from the grants committee, the grants budget, going forward, use the grants budget to provide this service rather than having a grants committee and giving grants out every year. So there's been some success. The clerk's been looking into this and can tell us some success stories from other towns that have successfully been using this.
So they provided some data for us. So another town council that's got it is Faversham. They have a population of 12,150 people. Their participation rate is 3.83%, and every year they've been raising 37,000. That's a bit more comparable. Another town, they have a population of 27,905. They've got a participation rate of 1.72%, and they've been raising £33,000 annually.
What town, sorry, Clark, which town is that, please?
Lichfield.
Oh, Lichfield, it's in the Midlands.
Yeah. The other big on that, so I won't read those. So they also, so I know some members have expressed obviously that Essex has the community lottery. Faversham as well, their borough council has one, and their experience has been that the town council lotteries always do a lot better because people can see the benefit of obviously their money going towards local community projects, whereas obviously the Essex community lottery is spread over a much wider field. And so yes, they do find participation rate is higher in town council lotteries.
Councillor Lisa Newport.
Thank you, through you, Chair. So are there any parish or town councils within Essex that are in the community lottery, other than Essex County Council?
Got any data to show that they're not on the list that I've been given, but they might be. Yeah.
Which would be a trailblazer. Councillor Lampiel.
Can I ask, are these the only provider, or have we looked for them?
So there's only 2 providers in the country that do it for town councils. I did approach the other provider, but they declined. They're not taking on anymore at the moment, just because of capacity issues. So this is the only one that will, and because it's a specialist service anyway, we don't have to get more than one provider quote in.
Okay. Yes, Chair, thank you. Through the Chair to the clerk. So, how easy is this to set up? What sort of impact would it have in our office? You know, all the sort of general.
So
all
this,
what why we're
it
aware.
will have very limited impact on Office,
Right.
because they will, obviously, Gatherwell provider will do the bulk of the work. It will just be a bit closer time when it actually goes live. Obviously, we'll have to help with some publicity, but they will also do a lot of that as well. So
Right.
in terms of impact on Office, quite minimal. And obviously going forwards, if kind of the money raised by the lottery is going to be going towards community grants and causes, then it takes pressure off us having to administer the community grant scheme ourselves as well.
Brilliant. Yeah, brilliant.
Councillor Jones Newport.
Thanks. Sean, other than the success or from what they've told you, did any of those other councils express any, did they get any resident feedback on councils promoting gambling activities? Because this is something that, you know, we've had councillors here as well that were very anti-alcohol, as well. And I'd be interested to know what sort of feedback they had from residents on that as well.
So I know when I spoke to Faversham, they said there was a small minority of residents that did raise that, but the council were quite comfortable in still proceeding with it because Gatherwell kind of set out a number of steps they would take to try and encourage responsible gambling, and they were comfortable with those measures, so they were happy to proceed with having the lottery.
It was part of the risk assessment that was in the pack that they sent out to us that they had considered gambling, and also they put in place that you can't buy so many tickets. There's something in there that says that it's not like an instant gambling fix. So there's a whole bit about that in their pack that they've sent out to us. Councillor O'Leary.
Yeah, thank you. Always slightly suspicious of someone sending out a risk assessment when you're trying to sell something at the same time. So have we done any research into where this hasn't worked and what their success rate is and what their failure rate is?
We haven't, to be honest.
Because I'd be very I'd be very wary of getting involved with anything like this unless we look at that sort of assessment first.
To be honest, I haven't done any specific research into it, but I've not heard within the sector that any town council has done this and it's not worked. I am aware of other town councils that have done it elsewhere, even with other providers, and they're still up and running. None of them have failed. So yeah.
Councillor Lisa Newport.
Thank you, Chair. So through you. So what proportion of councils across the UK, parish and town councils, have taken up the community lottery?
So.
Because I'm just wondering if it's a small, like 5%, or if it's a huge 80%, because that's.
It's definitely not. Yeah, it's definitely not a huge proportion. It's a relatively new thing. Probably the last 3 to 5 years, it's been something that's been introduced, especially obviously. So a lot of the principal councils have them already, and then it's just come down to this level as well now.
I think the fact that Essex County Council are one of the people that are on there, that does give us a bit to go on, because obviously they were on there.
That actually gives me 0.
Councillor Page.
Yes, sorry. Can I ask through you to Councillor Rowe? Have I got this right, that the museum got started with a bunch of money from the National Lottery? Is that correct?
After a lot of fighting.
Yeah, but he did all the stuff, didn't he, to get that forwards?
Yeah.
So that's a real impact. That's brought something amazing to Rochford. So what are we proposing to do here? We're going to go ahead, or we're going to set up a working group, or what would we do with this? We need to go and get the who, what, why, where and when on it, I think.
We've been given quite a lot of information in that pack that came out with the agenda, so it is all there with the costs and what it would involve. I'd be quite happy to propose that we vote on it this evening. Councillor Ilma Wilson.
Thank you, Chair. I'd just like to say, I think this is a really good idea. I think particularly in times of cost of living issues, which we're certainly in Raleigh at the moment, I know that through my school uniform, that actually if you're going to give to a charity, you really want to keep it local. You know, I think it's becoming more and more important to people that they know where their money's going.
Yeah.
And I must admit, I can see 1 or 2 downfalls to this. One has already been raised this evening about, you know, gambling addiction. But if there's a limit, from what I've read, I felt that risk assessment, selling or not, I felt that there was enough safeguards in place that it was worth doing this.
Yeah.
I just felt the worst that could come of this is that nobody signed up and it was a flop. In which case, that's okay, because one, we tried it, and two, you don't know until you try it. So I'm quite keen on giving this a go.
Thank you. Councillor Page. Oh, did I?
Yeah, you've done me. It's-
Okay, councillor Linton.
Wrong arm.
Following on from councillor O'Leary, previously operated North Yorkshire Council, but decided to transition to the community partner by 2026 due to costs and complex regulations. So what councillor O'Leary has highlighted must, I believe, be looked into before we can take any votes on it, because we've got half a story.
Councillor Rowe.
We are going to raise exactly the same thing. I think Councillor O'Leary has raised a very valid point. Therefore, I think if the clerk could go back and find out if there are any failures anywhere.
Yeah.
Rather than leaving us wide open. In principle, I think it's a good idea, as long as there haven't been any scams or anything elsewhere in the country. I think we need to find that out first before we actually support it.
Councillor Ian Wilson.
Yeah, it's only a bit peripheral on the subject of gambling. Is the plan proposal we've got here are other similar sized councils? Are the prizes money, or are they things, or are they vouchers? How would you actually?
It's money, I think it was all in the proposal, the price, and how much goes to good causes, which was a big percentage actually. So, a lot of this stuff is actually set out in their proposal. So of each pound ticket, 50p to the causes, 10p to Raleigh Town Council, 18.2 pence for prizes, 18.2 pence for the company that's organising it, and 0.36 pence VAT. And then individual lottery players have to, so you can decide as well. So individual lottery players have two options for how the 60% of their ticket purchase is distributed, because the tickets can only be purchased online, by phone, direct debit or payment card. So that's one of the things that they were talking about with regards to the gambling thing. It's not an impulse purchase sort of thing. The entire 60% can go to Raleigh Town Council, or 50% can go to a specified club chosen by the player, with the remaining 10% allocated to Raleigh Town Council. And these are far better sums than the National Lottery, the Postcode Lottery and the Health Lottery. And of course, it would all be for things that are nominated within Raleigh. So 6 match number prize is £25,000, right the way down to 2 match numbers, you get 3 free tickets. Yeah. Councillor Brewer.
Thank you, Chair. My question being, 50% goes to a specified club chosen by the player. Would we have a list of those, or would they just be able to specify anything anywhere? Would we keep any sort of check on what they are?
Between the town council, that would input what community groups and charities would be going.
So they would come from us?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fine, thank you.
Councillor O'Leary.
The cost of this to set it up, it's coming out of the, I think I read it was community grant scheme.
Yes.
So the 15 grand in the community grant scheme, can you remind me, because I should remember this, but I don't. Is that 15 including the underspend for this year?
No.
Okay, so that is 15.
That's 15 just.
And what was, can anyone remember what the underspend was this year? From the 15?
We've only done about 10 or 11, haven't we? And we've got another one on the thing this evening.
Okay, so,
Is that for this year's or next year's?
So that's for
That's for.
that would come out of, so like last year's underspend.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
right, so we probably have got.
We couldn't,
Yeah,
we didn't manage to give away,
Yeah, yeah,
we
yeah,
didn't manage to give it away the year before either.
yeah, okay, thanks.
So this is why, this is I think, quite a good proposal, and as Councillor Vilma Wilson said, if we don't try it, we never know. I'm still quite happy,
Just come back there, just,
councillor Rowe.
I for one, don't have an issue with it, other than I would like to defer it until the next meeting. On the grounds that we've asked the clerk to
Do some work.
find out any information about any councils that have failed. I just feel we need to have the whole picture.
Do you want to?
If it works, it'll be absolutely great, and I think it's a good idea to come forward, but I just think if you, I mean, I don't know if you want to put that proposal forward and I'll second it, I don't.
Yeah.
It was your idea to start with, or whichever.
I'm not fussed. You want to do it, and I'll.
Either either,
Yeah.
but I would like to defer it.
Yeah.
And then get that information, to come back, and then I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that
Okay.
this council will support it.
Okay, so that is the motion, all those in favour of deferral? Against? Abstaining? Thank you. Okay, that's deferred. Council office CCTV system, we have 3 quotes here on the table for the council office, CCTV system. I don't know actually if the clerk wants to make a recommendation of which one that they prefer or think.
Obviously, so we have a budget, the budget we set for this was 10,000, so 2 of these are over budget anyway, which just leaves Pete that be within budget.
Did you think that that one was suitable for what we're after?
Yes, yeah, and obviously Peak were responsible for installing the original CCTV system anyway, they know the building, and they're a local company as well.
Okay, did you have anything to say about the extra things that they put on there, because they were like suggesting one with the teen shelter and things like that?
Yeah, obviously that's, in terms of the additional camera for the teen shelter, that's obviously for council to decide if they want that camera. We can do, because obviously there has been incidents in there before,
And it's on.
and we would definitely be wanting the remote viewing for staff access.
Okay, and that would still come in under budget?
Yes, that would all, yeah, all that together comes in.
Okay, I think councillor Newport, you had your hand up first.
Thank you, Chair. Based on what, I mean, to start with, I haven't seen any CCTV audit. We used to have a CCTV audit done when we started out with CCTV years ago, so I don't know where the spec for this has come from. Second thing is I won't support any Hikvision install because of the human rights elements and the abuses by Hikvision. And that was made perfectly clear when we had the one in the High Street done, and that system's Axis. So we wouldn't entertain any Hikvision systems. And thirdly, on the teen shelter, we were told specifically by the Essex Youth Service not to put a camera over the teen shelter because they would not go in there anymore and they would just go somewhere else.
Exactly.
So I wouldn't support that either, but what's in front of us tonight, I won't support any of until that quote is updated with an alternative provider that's not involved with human rights violations. Thanks.
The camera that was going to be possibly covering the teen shelter was to be located on the pavilion, so not actually directly.
I won't use it.
I won't use it.
Councillor Brewer.
Thank you, Chair. I think Councillor Newport's just covered what I was going to say about the teen shelter. So I've done the same thing, the teen shelter, and I think also, I did mention before we started, because I couldn't see it on the third quote, that when I first came on council, and I think the page was there, we went to everywhere with CCTV before it came to High Street.
Yeah.
And all research we were doing was saying, do not go with the Hikvision
Yeah.
for certain reasons. So I would also have the same, I wouldn't be supporting anything with those. And we, just from historically going through that, I believe Kent's been the last one that I've just said to the clerk that I was looking up, that are changing all of theirs out of Hikvision. So I wouldn't be entertaining that either.
Councillor Lisa Newport.
Thank you. So I agree with what the previous comments have been said. I do wonder why there's 16 cameras needed. I mean, it's a bit of an overkill considering there's only 7 in the whole of the High Street. I mean, 16, potentially 17 cameras. I mean, what are we doing the size of Southend?
How many cameras have we got currently?
Geez.
16, there are 16.
So, and I think councillor James Newport said about the audit and have they come out and done a proper survey of where the cameras should be located, optimum
Yes.
position?
So yes, so each of them have come out and looked at the building, taken around the site, and that's where each of these proposals come from.
And have you taken any, sorry, through you, Chair, and has any direction been taken through like Brentwood Borough Council's control room for CCTV, for ask for any expertise from them, you know, because they partner with Rochford District Council? I just think it's an awful lot of cameras for what is relatively a small area. So as it stands, I wouldn't support this. Thank you.
Councillor O'Leary.
Is there a plan of where all the cameras are going? A schematic of just showing where they all are?
No, there's not in these proposals.
Because what I would suggest is that needs to be drawn up, and then that needs to go to the KGV committee. Because obviously these cameras can't be installed without the express permission of the trust. So can we make sure that happens if it does get voted through tonight?
Councillor Page.
Yeah, I was going to raise the point that this isn't really something wholly that we can do as a council, because we've got this new committee for KGV. And secondly, Councillor Brewer, myself, Councillor Richard Lambourne, I can't see any other faces here, did an awful lot of work around this several years ago when we were going to put CCTV through one of the funds that had been afforded to Rochford District Council. We were going to put CCTV in the High Street. Unfortunately, it was unsuccessful in the end, but we managed to sort it out a different way. Thank you, Councillor Newport, Lisa Newport's committee at Rochford District Council. There is a lot of work and a lot of understanding, and to go and work with Brentwood specifically, we went to Chelmsford, Brentwood and Southend. We went into great and enormous detail around it all. It was a real eye-opener, and I really do think that level of due diligence needs to take place around this for us as well. Thank you.
Councillor Sperry.
Chairman, I might be asking quite a naive question. What are we trying to achieve? Are we trying to achieve safety? Are we trying to achieve monitoring? Are we trying to protect the buildings and the recreation area? Are we trying to protect the participants in here? As you say, there are 16 cameras to do what? Well, what is the aim of this project? I don't disagree with CCTV. I just want to know what we're trying to achieve.
And Councillor Lisa Newport.
Thank you, yes, if I may. And I'd also like to further information on who's going to be monitoring the CCTV. Also, what the annual maintenance is for each and every single camera that's installed, because depending on what type of camera it is, there'll be different maintenance required. And I don't see that is within those quotes. Only one, Blake Security, said about £170 annual maintenance, but I thought that was quite small considering the number of cameras. If I may, thank you.
Councillor Page.
I think, you know, when we were doing it, it was a mixture of, and I think now, of deterrent and also community safety. Also, if we've got somebody that's gone missing, say with dementia or something, that we can focus it down. Is there any chatter about linking this over to Brentwood? The cameras over to Brentwood? Because obviously we've had a lot of issues in the park over the past few years. It's just not recent. It's always around school holidays and things like that. So the idea of this was to put some level of deterrent as well. But equally to support the police if something's kicking off or they can't get there in time, but they can actually see the individuals that are responsible and then follow that up. And that is something the public is massively screaming out for. It's all over social media. So I do think we do need to do this. We've just got to do it sort of more carefully, making sure that we are doing it appropriately. But I have seen you do have 14 cameras out there and it's on your screen. It is whether or not necessarily we do need all of that. So a little bit more work I think needs to take place to identify exactly what it is that we need and how we're going to go about it.
Thank you, councillor Rowe.
Thank you. So I hear what Councillor Page is saying, but in respect of Brentwood, that won't be the problem of Oxford, Southend and Castle Point going forward. Southend's monitoring system would be the place to be. So I don't think Brentwood's going to be that appropriate. I think maybe we need to talk to Southend now. So I've got contacts at Southend. If you want to arrange a meeting, that's fine. Let me know and I can get you in there.
So what I'm hearing, we need to do, we can use this as an opportunity to revisit the whole CCC system around the pavilion, and that we need to again defer this item so that we can look into all the points that have been raised just now, and whether we want CCTV, where it's going to point, how many cameras that we've got and what we want it for. So it seems so we'll start again with all of that. Okay, so I'll propose to defer that. Councillor Page, thank you. My second, all those in favour? Item 9.3 is funding for an ASB operation to consider the request received from Essex Police for funding of £2,872 for a targeted operation against antisocial behaviour for Rayleigh.
To this, yeah, obviously Essex Police contacted us about this. They would like the funding so they can have 8 officers working in plain clothes during the daytime and 2 officers in uniform in the early evening. They would be providing reports to the town council if we did agree to give them funding, and there'd also be the scope to kind of guide what locations they're specifically looking at as well, if we do commission them to do this.
Councillor Linden.
I had the most greatest of pleasure to speaking to what a number of young lads up and down the high street the other day. Interesting lads. They go to the Rocket Youth Club. Does anybody know the Rocket Youth Club? They go to the Rocket Youth Club. The reason why they're marauding up and down the high street is because they're bored. I said that there are plenty of places to go to where you will not be bored, and I'm sure your parents would not be. They all came around me and I was chatting to them after a few expletives and they calmed down. I did have to run up and down the high street after them. Basically they've been in the park and fundamentally I know this is harsh, but they're not actually bad lads. They do need to be spoken to by their parents, and more importantly by their schools, and more importantly by this youth club. I actually got stopped by a couple of residents in their cars. They stopped me to ask if I was all right and to see if they could actually help. And they actually knew some of these lads, and basically they said that they're okay when they're at home with their parents. It's just when they come out and they're egged on. So, you know, putting 8 policemen out there, I don't know, let's get to the core of the problem and find out. Now, let's speak to the schools. I've got pictures here. If anybody would like the pictures of them, they might recognise them if we're allowed to circulate to the schools. I don't know, Councillor Sperring. But basically, you know, fundamentally, if we're going to throw money at putting 8 plainclothes officers on, rather than actually finding out what the problem is in the first place, I don't know, it's just my thought. Just my thought. As I said, I have spoken to them.
The police came to us with this proposal. This is not something that we've gone out to them with. I've got Councillor Lisa Newport next.
Oh, thank you. So, the police came to us, but we've got no background. I've not received any background information about this, so was none circulated.
There's nothing, obviously what I've just read is that's all we've got.
Yeah.
Okay, so, a couple of questions. Are they asking for match funding? What department of the police are asking for this funding for ASB? Is it the business crime?
Mhm.
Is it the business
It's
crime
business
unit?
crime.
So basically then it's, ASB, I'll use the term very loosely because everybody's definition of ASB is completely different to the true definition of ASB. Is really, shop thefts, basically.
Yes.
Is that what it is?
So although it's come from the business crime team, I think it's a wider and ASB operation. They're just the ones that made the approach to us.
Right, okay, because as you can appreciate, it's not a huge amount, it's not a huge amount of money, but all it does is it postpones the problem. For those period of time, it'll stop and it'll move over to a neighbouring town. And then when they've gone, it'll come back. So I would appreciate more information on that before we're asked to make any decisions on it.
Councillor Rowe, you were next.
Thank you. So, Councillor Linden made a very good comment just now. We have the town rangers in town now, of which unfortunately one of the district councillors wants to send to the schools. Instead of leaving them in High Street, but anyway, that's been addressed, I'm being told. And it's all about engaging with these people, they're not all bad. It's about engaging with them, which is what the town rangers are doing. So for me, whilst it isn't a vast amount of money, it's still money that this council have to spend. I think perhaps we need to see what happens with the town rangers. They're all very new. They've only just come into the town. And from what I'm seeing, they're doing quite a good job. What Facebook are seeing is people moaning that, they're engaging with these people. That's their job. That's what they need to do. These youngsters need speaking to.
Yeah.
They're not all bad. They just need help. They need speaking to. They need places to go.
Yeah.
And putting police in there, I don't think it's going to be the answer. Myself, that's my thing.
Thank you. Councillor Gallen.
So I think kind of coming from the perspective of a parent with a 12-year-old, it's one of my student, yes, I understand that there's issues with these kids that need to be dealt with, and of course there's a whole world of stuff that needs to go on with them. But equally, as a parent of a school-age child, my child should feel safe in our park. And I know lots of parents from my child's year group who don't even let their children go in the park at all. So Dex loves Bar and Bus. He'll go there for that and have his tea and hot chocolate. But they don't really go there when they're not there. So they don't feel safe. And I think there are so many kids that are great kids and they also deserve a space that they can go to. So I think if there are plainclothes people there and the parents know that and there are rangers and all that kind of thing, that also gives the opportunity for people to be able to use our high street and our park. So while there are lots of other issues to deal with, I think it's worth coming from the other side as well. So.
Thank you. Councillor Brewer. Oh, you had one. Oh, okay then. That's Councillor Jones Newport.
Thank you, Chair. So, my thoughts on this is that, the PFCC increased our precept this year, 5%. Why are police asking town council to fund policing activities? Also, community safety lies with the district council. They've got a community safety budget. I think we should be pointing them back to the district council. I think we could be in danger here of, Councillor Rose already mentioned the town rangers, and I think we could, these piecemeal approaches, I think it needs a more joined up thinking. So I think the district council should be leading on this. They've implemented the town rangers, so the police need this to support that. They should go back and speak with them. So I'm not going to be supporting this. I understand the concerns, but this, there's not enough detail anyway. That's, it's very, wishy-washy about the outcomes, etc. And I think it will end up just displacing to other areas that, you know, if. I think one of the things that I know for a fact of economic crime is it's not just the town centre. Outlying areas with shops are suffering hugely with thefts. And no, everyone seems to be ignoring that, so it does need that sort of joined up thinking.
Councillor O'Leary.
Thank you, Chair. Kind of taken on board what's being said tonight, because it has slightly changed my mind. One thing I think I'd be slightly wary of is if we say no to this, there are people crying out to see more police and more police presence in the town and and just on the beat, which we don't see anymore. And it just gives the police the opportunity to turn around and say to us, you know what, we did offer it, and you said no. That being said, I take on board what's been said tonight, and I think more information is needed. And it's based on just the kids that are fined. I got a letter from a man with emphysema, a pensioner with emphysema, who lives in the area, and he's getting terrorised every time he goes in the car park to try and go to the doctors with kids riding bikes in and all this kind of stuff. He's afraid to leave his house. So are the town rangers going to deter those kids from doing that? And I do wonder if the police presence does help with that. But like I said, I'll take on board what other opinions that have been said tonight. But I think more detail, please, from the police.
I'm thinking, I'm going to hear from Councillor Wilson and Councillor Linden, but I'm thinking we've got enough information to vote on this evening, and I would like to vote on this in the first instance this evening, if at all possible, unless anybody's going to disagree. Councillor Ian Wilson.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. £2,872 for 8 plainclothes policemen and 2 uniformed policemen. I don't get a lot of them, is this a one-off operation or is this ongoing?
Yeah.
And the second part of that is.
It was for a limited time over basically the summer holidays.
Even so, under £3,000 for 10 people over a period. No, it's not. I take Councillor Leary's point that if what we can't do is just being told that we offered it and you turn it down. And for less than £3,000, I don't think we should be discussing this. I think it's a go. There's no question about it at all.
Councillor Linden, did you want to have another day? You had your hand up.
Yeah. Visual, you're talking about plain clothes. I mean, we want visual. When I spoke to the guy who's provided the rangers, he can provide as many rangers as we want, and with as many of their uniforms, they are trained in all different aspects of dealing with this. Yes, the police are actually trained in this, but having relatives in the police, they're screaming out for the fact that they haven't got enough officers anyway to do their day job. Now they're actually saying, look, give us some more money and we'll provide. No, the Rangers are good. The Rangers are out there doing a good job. I hear what Councillor Gallup says. I hear what Councillor Leary says. I don't want my kids in the parks getting terrorised. I want the kids in the park doing this. The Rangers are doing a good job. They've only been going for a few. As I said, I've spoken to these lads. It's not the first time. I've spoken to them 2 or 3 times now. The first time, in fact, twice with another councillor. The other councillor I was with actually had the approach where he actually went threatening to them. Don't do that again with her, right? They rose to that. I went to the other approach. How can I help you? Well, why are you bored? What are you doing? Why are you doing that, etc. Right? I got approached by 2 people on the high street. Why are you speaking to these kids in that way? I said, one of them was riding down the high street the wrong way. There was an old lady looking the right way to cross the road. When she went out to cross the road, he actually screeched to a halt. That's why I'm telling him to stop doing what he's doing. Fair enough, lad. Don't you ever do that again. He turned around to this lad and he said it. We need them visible. We need them out there so that they can see them. If anything, let's get some more rangers out there. We can actually pressurise the district council to put the more rangers out there. We need it visible. We don't, sorry, I was talking. We need it visible. We do not need, we do.
What I'd like to say,
Sorry, I'm talking.
I understand what you're saying, but we're just trying to wind it up a little bit because.
Who, me or her? You. Me, unbelievable. I am talking. I did not finish talking.
Thank you, members. Thank you.
The chair gets the chair.
Thank you, Councillor Linden. Thank you.
It's not in the standing orders.
Thank you.
We need to check them out.
Thank you. Okay, so,
Sorry, Chair, can I just ask for some clarification on 3 points? Is that okay? it's on what's been said. If I can just quickly tell you, then you can,
I'm not.
you know, decide whether there's going to be an answer or Sean can go back and find answers. I hear there were specific dates, summer holidays. Have we got specific dates?
So, I've got a list of people here to speak. Okay, I think I want to hear from everybody. Councillor Linden, you'd already spoken before, so I've come back to you and we want to speak on that item, not a whole story about.
I do apologise for caring. I do apologise for caring.
It's not about that. And I was going to try and get to Councillor Sperry and Councillor Lambourne, who haven't spoken on this, and then I would like to put it to the vote. Okay, so Councillor Sperry, thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. I think all the issues have been raised by various members. You've got a very small amount of money. You've got 8, 10 policemen working when we don't know, to achieve what we don't know. Is this robbery or is it that the antisocial behaviour? It's the whole spectrum. We need, certainly, I don't have a problem with the money, but then here we are in conflict with Rochford District Council and them all going for the same pots. We need, to my mind, a more specific, yes, it's going to be so many hours a week over the school holidays. This is what's going to happen. This is going to be their area of operation. And then we know we can make a decision on whether we think it's worthwhile, whether we think actually, if this is what you're going to do and you want more money, and Rochford District Council can't, then we can decide whether we feel that it's something we might want to support even more. But certainly the information we've got at the moment, I think is far too sketchy, and all the issues that members have raised, I think are very valid.
I think one of the reasons that the information was a little bit limited is because it's not to be put all out there in the public realm exactly what hours and where they're going to be.
No, I understand.
If you see what I mean. So then we will be able to negotiate once we've signed up for their scheme, or if we do. So this is the idea, but we weren't going to put it all out in a public meeting exactly where they're going to be and how long for and who it's going to be and all of that sort of thing. So that was the bit that wasn't necessarily going to have to be out there in public. Councillor Lambourne.
Yes, having listened to all the various views, I don't think this particular proposal is bad. It's very good, in fact, and I don't think some of the things that we've been talking about, provisionists, getting them back into youth clubs, doing things with them, they don't have to stop. But I think if we can, for a relatively small amount of money, contribute, because presumably that isn't the total cost for this thing, this is just a little bit of money that they want to help. I think that's a rather small amount, and even if it's only for a period of the summer holidays, that's well worth it. So every year, I mean, we've got the school breakup problem coming up in the next couple of months, and every year that I've been on this council, we've had drunks and kids all over the place. If we can stop that for £2,800, let's do it, and still progress all the other things that people want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a friend whose granddaughter goes to Southend High. When she gets off the bus in Rayleigh, she will not walk home from there. Her grandmother has to walk up and collect her because she will not walk either through the high street or through the park. I mean, that's ridiculous.
So,
A 12-year-old girl.
thank you,
And 2,800, I'm going to support this.
everybody, for your contribution. I would like to propose that we do go ahead with this. Have I got a seconder?
Yes.
Thank you. All those in favour? Against? And abstaining. Thank you, so that's
Can I just make a quick comment?
Yes.
The reason that I'm voting against it is because people keep referring to a proposal. We haven't had a proposal.
Exactly.
And one of the big things was a specific date, and I appreciate that it's not necessarily going to go out into the wider public, but as councillors making a decision on funding, I think councillors should be privy to a set amount of sensitive information. And a key thing was, because it's only a small project, will those officers be called away at the drop of a hat to deal with other things? And we don't know any of those answers.
So I think now that we have voted for that, then I think that the office will be able to distribute further information about exactly how the scheme's going to run over the summer, so that we're more aware that it wasn't something to be publicly.
Sorry, Chair, there is a process at council that members should be given the information before we make a decision. And I absolutely agree that there's sensitivity around police operations, but this council can move to a private and confidential session so that members can discuss it. And I think that the way this has been done is very poor. And I just want to make that point, because we're not following process, proper governance here. We're being told, oh, make a decision, we'll give you the information later. That's not how councils work and decision making.
No, but we have voted this with the information that we've had this evening. We voted this through with the information that we've had this evening.
Some members have made it very clear.
Some members voted against it. We have made the decision this evening with the information that we have had.
But some
what I'm saying is
members have made it very clear they cannot come to a decision without that information. That's the point.
Nevertheless, we voted as a council for this proposal.
Sorry, Catherine, you're completely wrong. We've had a vote, it's done.
No, not wrong, because process is processing.
So
I'm not wrong. You might disagree, but you don't want to follow government.
We are
That's fine.
Thank you. Thank you. Right, moving on. Christmas lights. This is coming.
Jolly.
Christmas lights display to consider some new quotes that have been received for some jolly new Christmas lights. Councillor Brooke, new thoughts.
Did we not get no Christmas festoon lighting for the trees last year? Why are we now looking at more when we've just spent about £8,000 on them? Pushed to spend, oh, was it 10? Pushed to spend 10,000 because we'd left it to the last month.
Yeah.
As per usual, and now we're looking at buying more.
I'm wondering if maybe I mean, these are just ideas as far as I'm understanding, and I'm wondering if Councillor Page or Councillor Linden, who was in the Christmas lights meeting, would like to give us a little bit of information.
Thank you, Chair. I don't mind kicking this one off. Obviously this was raised in the working group, and it's been like a 3-year programme of gradually trying to upgrade the lights. Some of them are very antiquated, etc. And during those meetings and with the community feedback, different things got put forward. Now, because the actual committee was closed down with the new clerk, this obviously would have all been discussed in communities and then brought up for ratification after it had been pulled apart. But that hasn't happened. We're doing that all now here. So it is just a process of ideas that have been brought forward for us to discuss and then plan forwards. As far as the banner going across Merry Christmas from Rayleigh, that has had a huge push from the community because we used to have it. And unfortunately, during a storm, the integrity of that broke. And by popular demand, it's been put out there for consideration, but it's not something necessarily we're going to ratify this evening. It's just what the community wanted and to upgrade. It was very popular when it was there before, but it is getting this structural thing absolutely spot on around it, and that's why we haven't considered it for several years. But you know, there is a programme where we're trying to just upgrade things to the standards that they need to be now. The lights were very, very old. To Councillor Newport, if you'd gone down to the sheds, you would have been able to see the quality of the lights that we had, which we've been gradually trying to make into something more relevant and, more importantly, LED lights, so they're more environmentally friendly and cost effective around it. So I hope that's a little bit of information coming from the working group around it.
Thank you. Councillor Lisa Newport.
Thank you, Chair. So I think what councillor Brooke Newport was saying about the festoon lighting is we were railroaded into purchasing 3 new sets last year. I don't understand why they would need pack testing next year, but that's another matter. A couple of points, really. It was agreed to defer for consideration item 10.2 on the 2nd of March meeting regarding the EICR testing and contacting Essex County Council. Have we got any update on that? Because I for one have not seen it.
No, we haven't got.
So therefore, I'm not really sure why we're discussing Christmas lights at the moment, because we haven't had the first lot answered. And then if I may just go through the quote somewhat.
Just to answer your first point, we're not talking about the pack testing or the electrics.
No, but we're talking about Christmas lights, and it falls under Christmas lights. The clerk was tasked with, was asked to sort out some communications, and it hasn't come back.
No, we haven't had that back yet.
Which is very poor, considering we're now discussing Christmas lights again, and we haven't got the information on the previous agenda item that we were asked to discuss.
It's a separate item on the Christmas lights.
It's still the Christmas lights. So I'm just asking why we haven't had that information back, because it's all relevant, because in this quote, again, there is safety testing, so it is very relevant. Okay, so if I may continue, the Merry Christmas display across, I understand that that was looked in previously, and we didn't have enough height clearance for that sign, which is a minimum of 5.8 metres in regards to Essex County Council's legislation. So I don't understand why we're looking at that. And I do reiterate what Councillor Brooke Newport said about some of the festoon lighting. And again, the testing, would just like answers to the original questions that were asked before we're then asked to look at spending more money. The other question, I did ask, as it was alluded to by the clerk, that we had a contract with Alresford Electrical. And then when I pressed for who signed the contract and the length of time of the contract, I had a response from the clerk to say that Alresford Electrical were updating their terms and conditions. Therefore, if they're updating their terms and conditions, until we've seen their updated terms and conditions, it would be my understanding that there is no contract. And I would like clarification on this. Again, I have emailed, I haven't had any responses to these questions. So therefore, until I cannot vote on these items and agree them, until the questions that have been raised have got sufficient answers. And that's the point that I'm making. We've asked questions and we've got no answers. Therefore, I don't see why we would be wanting to spend an additional £17,000 plus £26,000 on Christmas lights. So I would move the motion. I'd be bold to move the motion to defer the item once again.
I'd second that.
So can the clerk just answer what you've asked?
So in terms of the testing, we're not asking tonight for you to approve the costs around testing, because we are still waiting for that response from Essex Highways. So we're not that's obviously in the quote pack they've given us, but we're not actually asking you to specifically vote on that item. That can be done at a later date.
But it's in the quote pack.
Yeah,
So
but we
it's
don't
as a
have to
whole.
approve it altogether. We don't have to
Right.
approve it altogether. The 17,900 is not for purchasing any more lights. The festoon lighting is our existing stock. That is the cost for the installation and the maintenance during that period. That's what that 17,000. That's not for purchase of any more stock.
So can you, through you, Chess, can you elaborate on what the maintenance is for that festoon lighting? What is the
So
maintenance? Once they've installed it, what are they?
They go round and inspect them, I believe, on a weekly basis, and
Right.
conduct repairs. But that's not for purchase of any more stock. The additional kind of stock purchase of lighting is in the separate costs.
Councillor Linden.
I'll reiterate what councillor Page says, the community committee was shut down. Radio Lights Committee was going, but decisions are being taken outside of that committee, so I can't talk on that. I will respond regarding the festoon lights. We were going to use the original ones, but we were then told at the last minute that 3 sets out of these 6 sets weren't working and were dangerous, so we had to replace them. So it wasn't a matter of arms up backs, this is what's going to happen. It was a matter of, we were told when they got them out of storage that they weren't working. I had asked them on 3 previous occasions to check them and let me know, and they didn't let me know till the last minute, hence why that's what that came forward. Regarding the new signage going up on the high street, it's basically various different community groups that I've spoken to and residents that I've spoken to and on social media. And when we put the lights up, the question is time and time again, where is our welcome to Rayleigh sign? I understand fully why it came down. I understand fully the logistics and the health and safety reasons why it's not gone back up again. But there is in that quote somewhere where basically that says that full structural survey will be done to ensure that it is capable of going up if we decide so to put it up. But this is pure and simply, we're here for one reason. We were voted by the people, for the people, we're spending their money. That's what they've asked us to look into. So we've looked into it. I can't answer any other questions because my clerk isn't here and there's no committee which is formed any longer to discuss it. So, but that is the councillor Brooke Newport, that is the reasons why the festoon lights were last minute not on. Because even though we'd asked and asked and asked, it wasn't till the last minute when they got them out, they said they weren't working.
Not a great contractor then, eh?
Councillor Gallup.
There was a little bit in this contract about if the lights get broken due to vandalism and 2 other options, and it said we'll let you know after the 1st of October what that fee would be to come and fix them. Like that's a bit late in the day to know, because they could turn around and say, well, we're going to charge you loads to fix. I don't really know what the average kind of price is for them to come and fix those kinds of issues that are in there. So it'd be quite nice to know roughly. Like you don't want them to turn around and be like, well, that's £20,000 to fix that then. Oh, well, now we've got it down. Welcome to Rayleigh sign, that can't be fixed because it's too expensive.
Be able to have a look at some of their costs, because last year when they put the lights up on the clock, they stopped working after a couple of days, and they said, oh yes, it was vandalism, vandals cut them, and they fixed them. But yeah, so yes. So I think what I'm hearing is we don't want to speak about looking at new Christmas presents and decorating beacon posts. We want to find out what sort of contract we are or are not in with Aylesford, and if Essex or whatever are going to pay for their safety on our lampposts, Councillor Page.
Coming back into the beacon post and thing, that was again from the community pushing back, saying that nothing really happens up on around the Mill Hall, although there's masses of activities going on all the time. So it was just an idea raised at the working group to look into what sort of charges, what sort of things could be done there for us to be able to discuss. And obviously this is before the Communities Committee was shut down. That's the whole point of having a committee system and members making decisions, is so that all of this could have been thoroughly discussed and whether it's viable or not, and tossed out or not tossed out, whatever we do around all of that. But obviously it's been brought to full council for everybody to look at cold and hard faced around it without understanding the thinkings behind all of that. So you know, I personally feel that it's a really nice idea to light up the beacon up at the Mill Hall, because it does extend the Christmas festivities around it all, and the public were very enthused by all of that. But again, you know, we are here to serve the public, not to serve ourselves. So
I like the Christmas present one. I think that'd be nice with the green ribbon, because Rayleigh Town Council is green. But there you go.
Yeah.
Councillor Sperring.
Thank you, Chairman. I appreciate that we said that we would only have meetings for council up till May, but nevertheless, other meetings do carry on. when is this council going to start structuring and have dates and
Yeah.
ideas of what committees we are going to form and when are we going to do it?
Yes,
Because
so
this sort of thing, every issue that we've had tonight has virtually come back to the same thing, lack of information, want more details. And a lot of that stuff, in my view, could have been undertaken by a relevant committee.
Yep.
And have killed 90% of the questions that we've asked here,
Yeah.
because the various committee members at the committee meetings would have already have asked those questions.
Yeah.
And here we are, we're now down, well, I think it was in January we first said we were going to do it. Here we are, and we're now talking about things that we should have, in my view, have got resolved 2 months ago. But we've deferred everything, and there seems to be no plan at the moment to actually get anything back on the road. Sorry.
So, although the clerk's report came out very late, it does actually have an item on there that is telling you that after this evening, within the next couple of days, the clerk's going to send out proposals for committee structures, etc., etc. So that it can all be decided, all be thought about, and everything.
But can't we as committee members, as councillors, have an involvement and make our comments as to how we think the committee should be set
Yeah.
up and what?
Yeah,
where-
yeah.
So that's got, when we're going to have that, that's going to be at the next full council, so we lose another month.
And another hour.
So we'll take away those questions around the Christmas lights, which is the same questions that we've been asking, to be fair.
No, I would like to move a motion to defer the item until we have the proper information.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. So yeah, all those in favour?
First of all, there has been a vote taken on doing the Christmas lights. We mustn't forget that. And
Sorry,
secondly,
isn't there a motion on the table?
no, earlier in the
Yeah,
year,
there was a motion on the table.
There is a motion on the table.
To defer.
Been seconded, therefore we need to vote on the motion.
I did invite councillor Wilson to talk. So, councillor Wilson.
secondly, what we're actually doing is what we've done all evening. So if anyone wants to look at it back on the hour some other time, is as soon as there's a difficult question, we vote to defer. We're not getting anything done.
Get your act together and then we wouldn't be. Well, if we'd had our act together and we'd had these committees, we wouldn't be in the situation we're in now. As councillor Page has said, as councillor Linden said, councillors have said, you know, if we had got ourselves in order, we wouldn't be in this mess now. Sorry, it's a fact.
So, as I understand, the motion will be to defer talking about any additional Christmas decorations as per this proposal. And also, we're going to try and get those answers to the questions. So the proposal is to defer talking about things like Christmas presents and lighting of the beacon. That's what we're talking about, deferring. Councillor Page.
If you don't mind, and I know we're in the middle of a motion, through the chair to the clerk, can we have an assurance that the community committee will be reinstated and we will be having a meeting soonest because obviously Christmas lights you don't just do in November. There's work to be done around it. So can I have your assurance, clerk, that that will be taking place, please?
So there will be a communities type committee. And yeah, I'm not saying it's definitely going to be called communities, but obviously they won't be reinstated until May because you've got to have a vote on that to reinstate the committees.
Right.
And the original motion was to stop all the committees until May.
The committee will be coming back
So that was
after.
the
Are
decision.
you talking about after the AGM of the
So
council?
that the annual council meeting, that's when they'll be reinstated.
At the annual general meeting.
Council meeting, yeah.
But at that point, sorry, I do apologise to everybody, just so I've got absolute transparency and clarity. So at that meeting, we will then be putting in the diary, as we used to have,
Yes,
for
you'll
the
agree to get
council
the
meetings,
meetings.
so we all know absolutely the days we need to be available for those council
Yeah.
meetings.
Correct.
Brilliant.
Right,
Thank you.
voted on by the councillors.
Yes, fine, absolutely. Yes, so did I understand that's what the motion is, to defer talking about any extra Christmas lights, because we've already voted on some Christmas lights, still haven't we, councillor Wilson? So it was to defer talking about any other Christmas lights.
Yes, because we don't know what the contract involves either.
Right, yes, I agree.
Right.
All those in favour? Against or abstaining? Thank you. Right. Item 10 is to agree a response to the consultation on the Essex Laker speed strategy. So we want to agree a town council response to this, please.
Have we got a drafted response? No?
No, we haven't got a drafted response. Has anybody got any thoughts?
Chair, I'll just declare an interest on this. As an Essex County councillor, this came to a scrutiny committee, so I won't take part in this discussion.
Thank you. We had a chance to have a look at the consultation. Apparently it's a 6 weeks consultation, but it finishes on the 26th. We've got to put our response in before then.
Wow.
Councillor Brewer.
Yeah, actually, that's one thing I was going to say, looking at this, we've just got this. I wasn't aware of the consultation before, other members may have already seen it. I certainly haven't done the consultation because I didn't know anything about it, but so 6 days to circulate this. So what are we actually going to comment on? The fact that nobody knew about it, who's commented, has the public seen it, consultation? I don't know. What are we aiming for in 6 days?
I might like to suggest that our response be that we just advertise this on behalf of Essex County Council, and carry on spreading the good work, because everybody can respond as an individual. They're asking for responses from individuals. It should have been all over social media according to this, but I've not seen it. Councillor O'Leary.
Yeah, I think that I agree with what you just said there about promoting it, but I think perhaps we should be writing to SERP and Essex to say, how about extending the consultation, because no one seems to know about it.
That's a good one. Councillor Lisa Newport.
Thank you, Chair. Can I ask, when was the office made aware of this? Because I appreciate that there have been some absences. It's just before we start saying, oh, we need it extended. When did
It's saying it was the day the consultation opened to the 16th of March, which was the day we had meetings, so obviously we couldn't get on the agenda.
Okay. So it's only a 10-day consultation then? You said it was the day
16th
that.
of March. So our last
okay.
council 16th of March.
All right, but that's not been circulated to any councillors, has it? In this agenda pack, that's what I'm
Yes,
getting.
that was circulated to all councillors when that first came out, because I believe councillor Lumley circulated a letter with it as well.
Oh, I hadn't received it before today's agenda, so whether that's a problem with
Yeah.
my email, again, I don't know.
James Newport.
Yeah, sorry, Chair, I'm not talking about this agenda item at all.
Yes.
And I just, because there's another probably more important consultation, and that's the Planning and Infrastructure Act consultation. Has the town council responded to that?
No, we've not had that come through to us.
So that's the changes to the planning system that will take away.
Sent to us.
All right, well, the government of, it closes on the 23rd of April, so I'm just asking because I would have thought that someone would have made the town council aware as a statutory consultation.
No, I've had anything from Watford about it for anything.
So if I may, Chair, sorry, going back then specifically to a response, I can't respond as a town councillor because I haven't been made aware of this until I received it in the agenda pack last week.
Does anybody else wish to speak on this item? I think that I would put a motion forward that we don't make a town council response as councillors, and that we look into it ourselves, we advertise it through the town council using their things for individuals to respond. Not very well worded motion. Yeah. But can I have a seconder for that?
Can I just ask, so we're gonna put it on Facebook or something like that?
Yeah, so we can share, because what
So we've not
this is a lot of like, oh, this is what we've put out on social media, and this is where you can read the information, and this is what everybody should have been seeing all over the place. So I propose that we share all of that out to the people of Rayleigh using our Facebook page.
So, so you can, let us have that, or that will go on your Facebook.
Yes,
and we can-
yeah, it's cool, shared, yeah.
Yeah.
Councillor May, I don't know if everybody received it in the same way. There are a list of libraries. I don't know what I've got overprinted there. Who's this? So I can't see it. but
Yeah,
it's part
Rayleigh
of-
Library.
So we can also promote it that people that aren't online can go into the library and do something there.
We could put a poster up in the notice board.
Yes.
I don't,
One over there
is
tomorrow.
that, when does it finish, the 26th?
26.
Would it get them out tomorrow then?
So we can stick an, it's, what day is it tomorrow? Tuesday. Yeah, we could stick a poster in the notice board tomorrow, couldn't we? That sort of thing. And so, was everybody in favour of that?
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Super, right. So item number 11, the last of our item, is the community grant request from the South East Essex Youth Symphony Orchestra to consider the grant request received. They missed the original deadline. Going back to what we were saying earlier about the community lottery. We've got the grants committee, we advertised the grants committee, and we asked people to apply for grants to town council, and they don't all come bloody out with woodwork asking us for money, so it's quite difficult to give away money. So we finally persuaded the South East Essex Youth Symphony Orchestra that they could apply for a grant, and they have done so, but it just took them a wee while to get themselves organised and send it in. The reason it's come to this community, this committee, is they missed the last full council meeting, didn't they? So so it's had to wait for this one to come forward. Yes. So has anybody else got anything to Councillor Lisa?
Thank you. You said they missed the deadline. When was the deadline? And when did they get this in by? Do you know?
No,
So they might have missed it by March. Or...
No, there wasn't there was a deadline originally for the original round of grants that we do every year, which was sometime back in
December.
was it December? In December. And then we have a grants committee and do all those ones. But then the agreement on the grants committee was, and it is minted, that if we didn't allocate all the funds, then we would keep it open for any late applications that came in, of which this is one.
I'm really sorry, if it's in the, gender items that came out, I don't remember reading it. How large is this orchestra and how much money have they asked for?
850.
Yes, so the it is a symphony orchestra. I think there's a few of us in the room have been to their concerts, including Councillor Page and Councillor Brewer. They a proper full-size symphony orchestra with all the
That's great, Chair, thank you. How much are they asking for?
850, which is the amount, which is the maximum amount of a grant that we can offer them.
Thank you.
Councillor Page.
Yeah, I've had first hand with Say So, and it was my pleasure to give them £500 through the monies that I raised as Madam Chair through district. They are a remarkable organisation, and they take on students from, I believe, from the age of about 6 years old, and to go and watch their concert is just, it's really almost tear-jerking because of the work that they do and how professional they are. So I'm very happy to support them getting this £850. I think it's money well spent for our community.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councillor Rowe?
Thank you. Well, I've read the application, they do comply with our requirements. And I've heard that they're exceptionally good. So I have absolutely no problem in supporting that.
Thank you. Councillor Burrow.
This is just a fact that they do actually, practice Swain Park School, so they have to pay for the hire of the premises there. But all that work that they did when I was discussing with them, they do for use in this area. And so that for one purpose, I still support them.
Okay.
Councillor Lisa Newport.
So are we moving a motion to approve?
Yes, please. I would like to move that motion and so accept that. Councillor Rose, all those in favour? Lovely, thank you. I don't think we've got, means we have in the room. Okay, and, that brings us to the end of tonight's meeting, so I'll close the meeting at, 11 minutes past 9.